Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Cindy. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. And this is for a 2016 film called The Last Descent. Now, the story this is based on is a very creepy, sad, real-life story. Now, the real-life story is, in 2009, give or take, there was a guy named John Jones. He went to go into caves, I think with his brother. Not sure in real life if there were others there, but it was at the Nutty Putty Cave, which is near Utah Lake. Now, from what I understand, what really happened was, forgive me if I get the details wrong, because I don't think this film gave as many details as it should, which is, I didn't like this film. I think the story, go watch a documentary, go watch stuff on YouTube. It'll be much more fascinating than this movie, because I think this movie thinks it wants to be 127 hours, which is a good movie, but I think they did a shitty job because of mediocre acting. The rescue, which is the more interesting part, at times feels like it's on the sideline. It's not as well filmed as it should have been. It should have had a guy with talent, because the guy directed this didn't seem like he had any talent. If he had like a Danny Boyle or someone else, maybe he could have gotten something. And at times it's just shot like a shitty Hallmark Channel movie or a Lifetime Channel movie. With the acting and how cheaply it was and lit and the weird flashbacks, at times it did feel like a crappy Hallmark Channel film. And I think if you want to do this story, it deserved better hands than this. No wonder this gets like a 5.7 on IMDb. I'm sad what happened to the guy. As one person said, if I died and someone made a shitty movie about me, I'd be pissed too. Not just about dying, but because of the shitty movie. If you don't make a movie on me, I want it to be good. I don't think this film is good. In my opinion. So even in death, I'd be pissed. And maybe this guy's pissed too. And hey, you know, I'll get a phone call from him from the other side. He'll tell me all the details that they got wrong. But anyway, in the reality of the situation, he thought he was going into one cave system. But instead, he was going to the other. Because the one he thought he was going to had been explored before. It was known to be safe. He realized too late he was going to the wrong one. And then, for what I understand, he would crawl, and then he kind of, some things went wrong, and he went a bit too far. Then he tried to suck in his gut, but then when it expanded, he kind of got stuck. And then when he tried to maneuver, he went even further down, and so he was pretty much stuck. Imagine being in a tube, because that's how thin it was, a tube stuck looking down. So again, just picture you're upside down, you're stuck like this, and of course I can't be upside down. Just how intense, claustrophobic, and scary that could be. And just how that could do and deal with your body. Because your blood is rushing to your head, from your legs. And about how the rescue attempt, they tried to chisel and drill it out, but they only got a little bit in hours. So like it's not working with how thin it was. They couldn't get big drilling equipment in there. And then they go with a pulley system, and they're trying to like get his psychological status still there. So they're like singing songs and doing stuff. Hey, we're still here. They keep his mind busy. And then they try like a pulley system, but then something broke, and I think they hit a worker in the face, and because they pulled him up a bit, But when that happened, he slid even further down. And there's even a point when they're getting him up, they're like, oh shit. Because the way it's done and the way he slid, more than likely we would have to break his legs to get in. But because of how long he's been in that position, and I think like his legs, like when they're pulling it up, his legs like, imagine his legs are this, they're like touched and he like screamed in pain. And that showed like how fucked his body was. Because even the blood, like, the blood rushed to his head and all that. And this is like 28 hours, the whole ordeal. And then they're not sure, well, we can't break his legs because more than likely he could go into shock. If he goes into shock, then he'll be dead. So they're trying to figure out what to do. And then sadly, John Jones did die. So I don't even know why you would want to make this film in the first place. It's one thing like 127 hours because the guy lived. So I know there have been stories like where the person dies at the end, and it's just. But you kind of. Sometimes I'm like, well, why? Like, I just need to remember them. That's why. And obviously the family signed off on it because hey, we want people to remember what happened. And at the same time, though, I'm like, do you really want a story about your loved one being in excruciating pain and dying and what their last moments would have been? Isn't that kind of grim and like, I don't know. If I had a family member go through that, I wouldn't want a fucking movie made on it, but that's just me. Unless, I wouldn't do it even for money. I'm thinking maybe they, obviously got some money from it. For me, if it was my mom, if it was any of my family, my friends, I wouldn't want that. I don't care how much you paid me. I wouldn't want that. Well, if it was a friend, I would have no say in it. Family, I'd be like, no, you're not doing it. I don't care. No, I don't care what money. Just, I don't see why you would want that for the world. I don't get it. That's why, to me, if you're really into it, just go watch a documentary. And sadly, I hate to say it, but be like a word of warning. Don't go where you're not supposed to go. Watch your ass. Be careful, and let this be a story about. What's the word I want to use? Use, not discretion, but use. There's another word I'm trying to think of. There's caution. A cautionary tale. That's what I think this should have been. It should have been more of a cautionary tale. But instead, the way the movie is, the acting isn't that great. It's Hallmark Lifetime level acting. The way it's shot, the way it's lit, it looks cheap. The wife tells John, yeah, go with your brother, and they go in the caves. And they pretty much, he goes in, and the way it's shot is like all up close. Like the guy's doing this, and kind of doing this. And so you never get a sense of just how far he is down, and how high it is. And that's what I mean, you needed a director to really show the nature of the beast of this. To really make this cave system a character of its own. Really show just how tiny and claustrophobic it is. Just doing this is not enough. Like, there should have been a shot where, imagine like an ant farm. You have the ant farm, and you see what the ants are doing, and like imagine, you're looking, you've seen. There should have been like a shot where the camera's up close, like this, but he's upside down. And when it pulls back, we see just how tiny he is, or how thin the thing is he's in, and that he's upside down. We see the angle he's in, and how he's looking down. And we go further, and then we notice just how far he is from the surface, and just what the workers are trying to do and how they can't do it. And do you really that would give an audience a sense of, oh shit, this is how fucked this guy is. Like the horror, really sell the intensity in horror to see that view of it. It didn't really do that. The director didn't really do that. It's just that you'll see an up-close dive of the guy's face, kind of like this. Then you'll see an up-close of the rescuer, whether the lady, Susie, or this guy, Aaron, giving him like Gatorade and stuff, water. So it'd be like up-close of this guy, and then up-close of the John Jones character. Then this guy, then this. That's all it really does. So you don't really get a sense of just like how far this guy had to come down, and like again, it didn't pay enough attention to, like, it has a little bit of the people up top talking, but kind of like just a little bit. What it does is spends more time with these flashbacks, especially when it gets halfway through, and the extensive flashback of how he met his wife, and how, I don't know how long they were together, but then he proposes to her, and she says no, and then he freaks out, and then, oh, you should get away from her, and said, no, but I love her, and not forcing, but it's kind of like, hey, please, say yes to the proposal. And I'm like, I hate to say it, I don't give a shit. I get why you put it in there, because you want to show what this guy's life was, who he was as a person. But because it's not shot that well, because the flashbacks got too much, I think 127 Hours, which I'm going to compare it to, that handled that well, where for the most part you're there with James Franco and The Rock, and you just see his predicament. You see how far below it is. You see how alone he is. You see the desperation. You feel it. And there'll be flashes of what he could have done, what he should have done, but it's centered on there because that is the primary... That's the primary thing that the whole movie's based upon. If just too many fucking times it went back to these flashbacks, sometimes for 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then, like, at the end, they try to do this weird thing where you see, like, this old man, then you see, like, this younger man, and come to find out, spoilers, that his wife is pregnant, so he's been, like, visualizing his kid, but in a Benjamin Button way, to go from old to man to younger to kid to baby. And so you have, again, with the way it's shot, I'm not a fan of. It looked cheap the way it was shot, where it's up close, and they go immediately to the pulley system. Not all the stuff before it, but they really should have shown the ordeal that these workers and the rescue party tried to save this person. I would assume that's what they did, that they really tried to save this person. And just like them getting there, assessing the situation, the exasperation. Unless they want to, because they fucking blame them. You didn't save him, fuck you. But they don't seem like they go on that route, though, to be fair. But it just... Maybe if they saved the guy... I wonder if they had saved the guy, maybe the film would have done that. It would have centered on the people that saved it. But because he wasn't saved... Maybe they thought we don't want... It's like the characters are like a... It's not even the people that were there. It's more of a... What you call it? They put a couple people together. So... Because at the very end, they list the names of the people that tried, but you don't really have any of them represented in the movie. It's like a composition of multiple. And I'm like, okay. And that's the thing when you go in these movies and it's based on a true story, but then, well, how much is... And then how they change stuff. And I get it, it's a movie, but sometimes that shit just gets on my nerves. And maybe that's the thing, it's just I would rather just watch a documentary on stuff like this. Because the facts, most of the time, the facts are more interesting than what the fuck they dramatize. It really truly is, at least in my eyes. On a side note, I believe they did feed him Gatorade because of the electrolytes, and it's supposed to help with dehydration. But this is just a tangent. You know what? I never have Gatorade because when I've had Gatorade in the past, it always tasted like salty. And the fact like this back, it would always make me more thirsty. I always thought like it tasted good. I forget the exact names of the flavors, but like the orange one or the blue one, I would have some of them, but anytime I drank one, I would be more fucking thirsty. I'm like, this ain't no goddamn thirst quencher. That's fucking bullshit. There ain't no goddamn quenching of thirst. I drink one, I'm more fucking thirsty. So that's why I would drink one, I would get more thirsty, and I'd get a bottle of fucking water. Because this is the ultimate thirst quencher. That's why I don't drink sports drinks a lot. I don't drink any sports drinks anymore because they just... What's funny is like the fucking Bell Yellow soda makes me less thirsty. I like the taste, but I mean, that quenches my thirst more than fucking sports drinks. I know that may not make sense to people, but it's just a tangent for me. But anyway. But yeah, they don't go into the whole trying other aspects and then go into the pulley system. They don't even have the thing where one of them broke and it hit one of the workers in the face. They don't have that in the movie. It's just, we're lifting them up and everything's like very up close shots. You never really get the huge gist of it. I was just like where this guy is and where this guy is and how far or how close the guy is and all that. The whole full safety. I believe in real life only one of the things broke, but here everything broke. And so he falls, and then I guess they want to visualize what his last thoughts were. So he pictures himself being rescued, as if he's trying to have a faked out ending, which is weird. So we don't have a faked out ending one where he thinks he's been rescued, but then he's back in the cave and he realizes he's dead, and then he sees his kid, which again he realizes of all these flashbacks he's been seeing this person from old Benjamin Button style going back to his baby, and then it's about how his baby and you're gonna be the man of the house and all this other stuff, which granted he would not know that, but that's not even true because I think a couple years later his wife did remarry, so the kid would not be the man of the house. But again, this guy wouldn't know that yet. But I mean, none of this happened because they wouldn't have known, so they're just making a fictional, just weird. Like, here's the real guy, and they're going to fictionalize, oh yeah, his last moments. Yeah, of course he would assume he would think of his baby, but I don't know if he think about Benjamin Button style, and I don't know, it's just weird. The whole thing just seems very weird to me. I don't know. Maybe John Jones would be like, fuck that. I was thinking like, I want some donuts. I want some fucking Popeye's chicken before I go. I want one more bite of Popeye's chicken. Imagine that was your last thought. That might have been my last thought. I want some goddamn Mellow Yellow. I want some Long John Silvers. Okay? I want a woman here to suck me off and get her damn mouth right on my dick while I'm eating some Long John Silvers and I'm drinking a Mellow Yellow. And maybe that'd be his last thought. Maybe that'd be, maybe that's talking about my last thoughts. So, I mean, so there you go. Maybe that was his last thoughts. He wants some Burger King. I want one goddamn Whopper. Maybe that was his last thoughts. But anyway. Or his last thought was, you fucking assholes, my fucking brother, you got me in this goddamn hiking shit. Or, I fucking hate hiking, fuck this, or, I don't know. But I get where they're going. And it's trying to be, I don't know if I say it's trying to be like a faith-based movie. I don't know if I would go that far, but I know some reviewers, I was looking up, they felt that. Because it did kind of look like some of those faith movies. Like the way it's shot. I don't know. Anyway, he says some stuff to his baby, and then he dies, and then there's a lot of text about he died, and I guess apparently they couldn't get his body out, so they left his body there because they couldn't get it out. Man. I don't know, I just felt like a lot more of the detail of the rescue attempt would have been more intriguing of a story than what they try to do here with all the flashbacks and him meeting his lady. And I get that you wanted us to know who John Jones is, but then let us know before. Let us know before the stuff. And I did, like, if he has flash, like, I didn't. 127 hours, the way it's filmed, the way it's edited, the way it's shot, is such a pretty damn good movie. However you want to feel about James Franco, he did a very good job performance-wise. And that's what it kept reminding me of. And of course, that ended more happily, because the guy did survive. But this just is a weird story to make in the first place because of the outcome. I don't really understand why the family was fine with it. I don't. Some would say money. I mean, I don't know, with the way this is shot, doesn't look like there was a lot of fucking money involved. This director, I don't even know what this director has done. I tried to look up his other stuff. I didn't recognize anything the guy did. By Isaac Halasima. Praise for his direction, acting, cinematography. Bullshit. Just a 5.5 for a reason. By Isaac Halasima. He did TV series Dry Bar Comedy. He did some TV specials, which I guess these are stand-up specials. Brian Bates, Uber Important. Jeff Capri, Capricious. Andy Gold, Dreamcatcher. I didn't even heard of the people. He did music videos for Imagine Dragon songs. Music video director. Even the cat's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm talking about Isaac Halasima. Half Polynesian American son of a Tongan immigrant and a single mother from Idaho. Dude, cool story. But yeah, I just wasn't a fan of this movie. I think it was mostly boring. This should be a very intense, claustrophobic movie. Like, again, 127 hours did that. Even that movie that I know I kind of... What was that movie? Manjumo Boys. That's what it was. Manjumo Boys. 2024 Indian Malayalam language survival thriller film. And I know I was kind of lukewarm on it just because of the running time. Because the running time is 2 hours and 15 minutes. But I could say that was a much better shot film. It was a much better shot film when they're in the cave system. Or I say cave system, but there's a guy who like falls down and they're trying to get him up, but he's, because of how he fell like this, he's really broken up. And some people think, first they thought they murdered him. It's like, no, we didn't. Then they finally got people there, and then they don't know if they could, because it was so far down, like 900 feet deep at least, in a place called the Devil's Kitchen. The way that was shot, I definitely give more credit to. And again, I didn't love that film, but I'm just saying, even that film I thought did that much better and had more of an eye on the look and the cinematography compared to this film. But this film seemed a lot cheaper, a lot more kind of, I get being sentimental, but like Hallmark level And yeah, I just didn't think much of this movie. That's just me. And of course, it's depressing because the guy died at the end. You know, it's not a happy story. So honestly, it just seems like if you really are that intrigued, just go see a documentary of this. That's just me. And yeah, the acting wasn't that great. I'm just repeating myself. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.